he angles it somewhat. Barkadash!
Where do I start? It's been up and down.
I remember being a kid.
I can see that happening.
That's something, there's always something to do. Be unlaced.
Unlaced podcast. It's actually not bad.
Welcome back to the dance floor, ladies and gentlemen, the Unlaced podcast. We're back with another big episode. Before we jump into this one, just want to give a big remark to the last episode with Fahid Ben Khalfallah and Rashid Mahazi. Everyone seemed to really enjoy their debates and hatred for each other, despite being best mates. It's like sitting in a cafe with them. They just never agree on anything, and then somehow they just get up and shake hands and move on with their life, which is kind of strange. But we had a great chat on Australian football and breaking down the A-League and why we think it can do better in certain areas. So go back and listen to that one if that is of interest. And again, just thank you to all the listeners and subscribers out there. We appreciate your ongoing support. I know a few people are aware of this episode and definitely excited to hear from the great man, Jackie Chris from the Collingwood Football Club. He's been kind enough to join us after doing his kinder drop-off. So, Jackie, appreciate you coming in, mate.
No, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Very excited.
I think you've been a bit of a requested guest. Anyone Collingwood, we've had so many Collingwood players on this show. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, you guys are just sought after for some reason.
That's good, isn't it? I mean, we're all nice. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, more importantly. Yeah, more importantly. Now, we did have a bit of a riff before this. We're not happy with the seats in here. We don't know whether we sit back or hunch over.
Yeah, they're a bit of a weird height and they squeak a lot. It's distracting.
It's distracting, yeah. It's been an ongoing thing for me for weeks, and you just come in and just pinpointed it on day one, being like, look, it's pretty nice, this studio, but the seats are shit. But, mate, how's life? What's been happening with you?
Life is going really well at the moment. Obviously, still early stages of the new footy season, and Lila's in 4-year-old kinder now, so that's a couple of days a week, and Sloane's getting older, so life's pretty full on, but really enjoyable at the same time at the moment.
That's good, mate. How's the body? You're looking pretty fit out there, I must admit.
Yeah, body's still going really well.
Still going
really well. Yeah, after 6 or 7 years of still been going really well. But going, feeling great, feeling fit. Had a different kind of pre-season this year with the new coaching staff. But yeah, I think everyone's reaping their rewards of it so far. Obviously, we've had a couple of casualties along the way, which is unfortunate. But fingers crossed for speedy recoveries for those blokes.
Bloody oath. Now, what would you say, just mentioning that, what's been different about this pre-season? Obviously, everyone's well aware of the coaching changes, but what actually has changed outside of that, I guess?
Well, I think with how many changes there actually were, we've got coaches gone, we've got admin staff, we've got a whole bunch of young players that have come through as well. We've got a new head of sports science, strength and conditioning, Jared Wade, who came from the rugby, and just brought. I think everyone was scared of him at the start. I got feedback from Caleb from the first couple of weeks because he was part of the young fellas.
The first 4 year players.
Yeah, first to 4 years, and apparently he wouldn't crack any jokes and wouldn't smile at the boys.
Shit!
So everyone was getting worried, and over pre-season, I think every session we trained in was at least 30 to 35 degrees. So it was so hot. But, he'd punish us for a while. So we'd put in the hard work, but on the end of it, you saw a big smile on his face. He said his job was done.
So he's happy.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know what? It's worked, I think. We've been able to play a lot more consistent football over 4 quarters, and we are playing a high energy brand of football. So it's been great. It's been a great change, and everyone's feeling refreshed.
I was going to say, because you guys are playing a brand of footy that, regardless if you guys win or lose, it's exciting to watch, as it's been this year, and it's very on the edge. But obviously there's a mentality to that to want to move the ball quick and get the ball forward. But does that also come back to fitness as well? Are you guys do you feel like you guys are really fit to play that brand of footy too?
Yeah, 100%. We've got the confidence in that. I think the coaches went through some stats about how much kilometres we've done over the pre-season last year compared to this year, and this year was actually a lot more. It may have been. I'm not sure how it was like put into training stuff. We did some conditioning blocks that were pretty solid, but obviously we get a lot more conditioning as well over the training drills. Yeah. We've even spoken about plenty of times the games that we did lose, how we had managed to still keep fighting and not give up and play an exciting brand of football. And I think even the media was saying that even though we lost games, that we'd gain supporters again by the brand that we're playing. So it goes to show that what we've been doing over a short period of time is working and it's exciting. So, have a lot of confidence in what we're doing, and we've just got to keep trying to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right, it's still early in the season. You guys have started off pretty well considering, I think the first, second, third and fourth round you guys had lost despite winning round 1 or something. So
yeah, we ran the first 2 and then lost 3 on the trot.
That's right,
But 13 points and 7 points. So it wasn't much.
Yeah, it was close.
Small margins. 2 of the games we definitely had our grasp on, probably could have won. But then obviously Brisbane were thereabouts. But yeah.
I don't think people gave you enough credit coming into this season. I think a lot of people had a bit of knock on you guys as well, which is why it's been good to see not just the brand of footy, but you guys are actually getting results.
Yeah, a lot of people obviously had written us off after last year, but like myself and a few other players included, like I was always saying to people, like, you know, we're probably going to come up the ladder faster than what you expect. Like, we've still got a great core list of senior players that had just been injured and hadn't been able to play together properly for a while, for the last couple of years. So those blokes being healthy, plus another pre-season in the 10 draftees we had last year, is that more experience and a bit more chemistry, and allows you to play better together. So yeah, I'm not surprised with how we are going at the moment, but it's just really great to see how we're doing it with the new game style.
Yeah,
how quickly we've kind of done it together. We're not waiting till the back half of the year to win and string some games together. We've kind of done it from the start.
Is that even a shock for you? Because I know they mentioned to Fly, who's the coach, Craig McRae, they mentioned to him last week or the week before of like how impressed is he with how quickly you guys have adopted what he wants to do. And he said like he's impressed, but he also said that there's still quite a lot that still needs to be done or needs to be learnt or implemented. But are you a bit shocked at how quickly it's come together, or is the long pre-seasons part of that as well?
To be honest, I'm not really too shocked. Like I've said to a few people as well, like the way the new coaching staff has been able to break the messaging down, not only to the senior players but the younger players as well, so everyone can kind of really understand it together and help educate each other and then go out to train and execute it. I thought it's been really, really well done. They've just made it so simple that it's kind of hard not to understand.
Yeah.
And then obviously when we get out and train it over and over again over pre-season, it just becomes second nature. But then obviously being able to execute in games when you're under so much stress and pressure is another thing. Yeah. And I think that's probably what's been the most impressive part, is how quickly we've been able to do that. Because it's easy to go out and train something after just having a meeting on it, but then obviously when you're doing it against opposition is another step.
Correct.
So that's probably, And Fly has spoken about how impressive it is. He said to us as well. Yeah. And like we understand that as well. And we also know that there's still a lot of room to grow, because 4 quarters of consistent footy of that effort is still on the cards for
tough,
us. And
right?
Yeah, and it is tough. It is a big challenge and ask, but that's what we're aiming for.
Beautiful. Now, we did joke about this before, but Jack and I are actually the same age, ladies and gentlemen. I'd say we live a slightly different pace life, not so much because he's an AFL footballer, but because he's a dad of 2 and married, and I'm as single as they come with no kids. So there's a bit I think I could learn off Jack to slow my life down. But you are a big family man. You've obviously had kids for they're 5 and 3 or 5 and 4?
4 and 2, but
4
soon
and 2,
to be
sorry.
5 and 3. Yeah.
There you go. So, mate, how's that been? Like, and also just to spin on that, like, how does that help your footy in a way? Does it help that? Does it give perspective to it?
Yeah, 100%. We'll start off firstly. It was a massive change in lifestyles, because I was probably down more your alley. Yeah. Obviously back then when I was 23. But yeah, it's just a massive, massive change in your life. Probably something that I actually spoke on another podcast, I think it was Dad Life, and spoke about how it's taken me probably 2 or 3 years to actually come to terms with it properly, about
really
how to change things. Because early days with Lila, I was still trying to go out and have some beers and thinking I could get up in the morning and be a dad. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Nah,
like that.
You need that extra sleep in and a hangover, right?
Sometimes I was scared up in the ball. But no, it wouldn't change it for the world. Like, I've been blessed with my job, and obviously I can afford to be able to do that stuff and have a young family. And I want to be able to run around with them when I'm older as well, even after, if fingers crossed, no football injuries limit my body in the future. But I want to be able to live my life to the fullest with them when they're older as well, and can run around and have a bit of fun with me. But yeah, I'm very happy with my family at the moment, and wouldn't change for the world.
Yeah.
I forgot the second part of the question.
The second part was, how does it like for you? Because I think I spoke to Howie about this when he was on, just because he just had a newborn roughly around the time.
about how it affects.
Yeah, like the perspective, and does it bring a bit more balance to your footy and life?
100% it does.
Yeah.
From the first time Lyle was born, just even like coming home from training, if you had a bad day,
Yeah.
just put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
And then after games, like before COVID, obviously when their families are allowed in the rooms, fingers crossed they can come back in soon actually, but before that, like if it played bad, I'd try to come out to Michaela and the kids and just, have an angry face on, disappointed, but I'd walk out head down, I'd just look up and Mickey would look at me and then we'd both just start laughing. I'm trying to be angry, I'm not happy with how I play, blah, blah, and straight away switch on, happy, but it's just, it just makes you able to switch off so quick and
really,
just relax, because if you're just going footy all the time, you're going to burn out.
Bloody
you
hell.
have that downtime. Nothing better than coming home to be with your family and home and chill out and have some cuddles on the couch or whatever.
It's a pretty abnormal life, the world of being a football player. And there's a few things going to go into, because as unique as this game is, it's even more unique a little bit at Collingwood, because it's such a massive club and you guys are pretty much every game's a huge game or a sellout crowd at the MCG, whatever it is. But you touched on it there, like a bit of like the time you have with your mates and obviously your family. But I actually came across a bit of your banter on TikTok. And for those listening, Jack Crisp on TikTok, he's very underrated.
Funny.
Very funny, very underrated.
Real basic, but
yeah,
I think it's funny.
He's used the same like TikTok melody or thing like about 8 times, and it still makes you laugh every time. And he definitely has a bit of a crack at his partner Mickey, just the odd like, oh, she finally lets me go play COD with the boys and this and that.
Well, I feel like that's relatable.
It is absolutely. But mate, so when did you start getting on TikTok? When did you have a feel for that? Because you're actually quite big on a bit of content creation as well, I've seen.
Yeah, I think wasn't too long ago. I did like a couple of videos early, and then I was off it for a while. And I was like, I went through a period, I think it might have been a month where I was doing like 2 or 3 videos a week. Yeah. I figured out you got to do it like maybe Tuesday to Thursday or Monday to Thursday. Yeah. Because weekends people are out, they don't watch videos, they don't on social. Same as Instagram. And then footy's on. So,
true.
Yeah, got it midweek, like people home on the couch.
Doing nothing.
Yeah, doing nothing. They just flick through TikTok.
That's golden. Because one of the other things I've seen you do, and I'll let you describe this, but the word Crispy's Crew. Now, what does that mean? Because I've seen a big bit of content around that through the hub period, but I don't know if you're still doing stuff.
No, I haven't actually done anything on that for a while. Originally in the first lockdown, started an Instagram page to do workouts with people on live Instagram. Yeah. I think that was maybe 3 to 4 times a week, where like Michaela and I would make up a program at home and obviously go on lives, a few Instagram lives to do it, but then also we would start a YouTube channel where I would film workout videos as well and post them on there. Right. So for people to use, and then I think we came back to football for a bit, and then as we were going into the hubs, I bought my camera and actually started filming like vlogs of hub life when I wasn't with Mickey and the kids. So I did those weekly. I think I did 4 or 5 of those, which I got great feedback on as well.
Hey,
so
they were awesome.
Like,
they're the ones that I've watched.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the hub, they're like 20-minute videos as well.
Yeah,
like they're decent videos.
Actually work together with the Collingwood media as well, just to grab some stuff from football, training and games and gyms, so I can kind of incorporate it, say like what we're actually doing, and then like my views, and then just so they could experience it with us, because obviously everyone else is in lockdown and was struggling at the time. So got great feedback on it, really enjoyed it. I would have probably loved to keep doing a little bit more, but once I caught up with Mickey and the kids, it's just I've got no time to film or cut videos. And when I did have my own time, I was kind of just, I just need to chill out.
Did you do the editing for them?
Yeah, I did it all myself.
Fuck, that's impressive, mate.
I actually enjoyed tinkering around with like I think it was Final Cut Pro and.
Fuck, that must piss you off, because I just try and get his help with everything, but he's self-taught.
I didn't mind doing it.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I guess when you're in the hub too, you're probably a little bit bored. But do you know what? One of the when he put out, and for the listeners, we did put out a bit of a poll yesterday before Jack came in of like, what do you want us to ask Jack Crisp? And one of the fans was like, why has he stopped doing Crispy's Crew? So the people want it back.
I've still got the Instagram page, still got the YouTube channel.
Yeah, the YouTube channel's it's got a good following too.
Yeah, there's like 2,500.
Yeah, which is a lot for
Yeah.
YouTube these days.
Yeah, I'm still keeping it. I have no intention of getting rid of it, but I just don't have time at the moment.
It's time. It takes a lot of time.
It's
Like,
like-
editing is fucking it's a brutal process at times.
And then now, obviously, we're out and about with socialising and stuff again. And
True.
Mickey and I have been going a fair share of events and stuff. Yeah, and then obviously other times I just want to sit on the couch and just quiet time. Kids are in bed. Like, it's my time to relax.
Yeah, fair enough.
Can't keep going.
Fair enough. Now, I do want to go back to footy and talk about this, in particular in the early days. And I'm a big fan of you as a footy player. To be honest, I've got to stop saying this to most AFL players that come in because now it's getting old. But I actually am. And because Jackie Crispy's good for 25 plus every week. So there's a bit of...
I've had some strong messages.
Yeah, it's as safe as bet as they... Yeah, I bet, because you're so used to getting them. But anyway, no, I actually didn't realise until doing this research, because I knew of your history with Brisbane and coming to the Pies, but I didn't realise you went in the rookie draft.
Yeah.
In 2012.
Yeah, so I think a couple of teams... Actually, when we had draft camp, I got interviewed by like 12 teams there down in Melbourne. I think a couple of teams maybe had me even in top 30. But yeah, like, I was pretty flat when I didn't get picked up in the national draft. Like, I was watching it at my uncle's house with my family. Dad couldn't watch it, he was in the car.
Fuck.
Didn't happen. So got a few mates over and got pissed at home.
Just to soften the blow.
Well, yeah, and then because I thought I was getting drafted, so I didn't book schoolies. So that night, Mum and Dad booked schoolies for me. 2 days later, I went up to schoolies with my mates. So
when's the rookie draft take
back
place?
then it was in December. So it was like 3 weeks after the national draft.
Right.
So missed out on the national draft, went up to schoolies with my friends, and then while I was up there, so on the 7th day, like everyone was leaving anyway, so we came home and I went straight down came to Melbourne. Dad picked me up, and then I was training with St Kilda for the week. Right. So I was still running every day up in Gold Coast just to try and keep some kind of fitness. Which is great. But yeah, came down, trained with St Kilda for a week. Trying to get a spot there. There was 4 other blokes trying to get a spot there as well, but they didn't pick any of us up either.
Fucking idiot Saints.
Yeah.
Saints fan too. Jesus Christ, in Kilda. Anyway.
I missed out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I think it was 4 or 5 days after that when I was just at home. I was just mum and I at home. Rookie draft was on. She was watching on an iPad. I was just playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's not much has changed.
You got picked up.
Did you know you were going to Brisbane?
No. I knew they were interested. They'd call a couple of my friends up apparently, and they told me about it. So I was like, oh, cool.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
that's weird.
They're just asking questions about me.
Oh, right. But they didn't call you, but they've called your mates.
To say, what's he like as a person?
What the fuck?
Yeah, and lucky they threw me under the bus.
Jesus.
But one of my mates said, because I had one ear pierced back then.
Right.
And apparently they go, oh, he's got his ear pierced. What does that mean? Like, what's the go with him? He's a bit like different, or
oh my god.
And he's like, no.
That's so weird.
So he didn't throw me under the bus, which is good. But when he only told me that one specific question. I'm not sure if he was taking the piss or not.
Yeah,
but, still pretty funny.
That's crazy.
But yeah,
what the fuck?
So then I think it was a Tuesday or Monday maybe, and then literally the Brisbane representative from Melbourne, I think, drove up and saw me that day. But then in 2 days later, I was flying up to Brisbane. So it all whirlwind. And then I was up there for a week before Christmas break.
Okay.
I got to spend a week up there. It was a solid week because we had some crazy camp for the young guys that I went straight on, and that was really, really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why, because it's hard to believe. The reason why I think it's hard to believe is because, as we spoke, you're almost a 200-game AFL player. We'll go into the accolades you've won at Collingwood recently, but what was it that have you improved in the AFL system, or do you think you just kind of got, they just missed you? What really happened there?
In terms of me getting...
Yeah, just not getting picked in the draft, and then obviously having to do it the hard way.
I know,
Brisbane,
it happens to a lot of players, I guess. Obviously, they can only pick a certain number, and
true.
Clubs have positions that they want to get filled, and obviously players in mind that they want to get filled. So I'm just one of those blokes that happened to slip through the rookie draft. Spent 3 years at Brisbane. Played a good first year, played 10 games, only 2 in my second year, and then the last 6 in my third year. So I was on the back end, the last 2 years, kind of am I going to keep going with the football? Am I going to get an opportunity? I seek to trade for thinking it was going to be I needed a fresh start at
So
a new footy club.
you pushed the trade for Brisbane to get out of Brisbane.
Yeah, with my manager, like
Yep.
I said, like, well, I'm happy to stay in Brisbane if we can't get any. Sorry,
Yeah.
if I can't get anything, but
Yeah.
I'd like a fresh start.
Fair enough, too.
Yeah, and so what it was when it happened, I missed a call from my manager, and I listened to the voice message. This is an hour later. Said, "Hey mate, I don't think we can get anything, so might have to call Brisbane and say let's get a deal." So an hour later, I called him back, and then in that hour he goes, "Yeah, we've got a trade going on." So it's so funny. If I'd probably answered that call in 1 hour, I probably could have stayed at Brisbane, but in that hour where I didn't call back, something happened, and then the trade was organised for Collingwood.
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
Talk about like splitting edge moment.
I know.
Yeah.
It was like pretty unreal, and how quick things can happen. And that was the day after my 21st party, I think it was.
Right.
Because, because something came up at my 21st birthday night. I was having a party, and one of my mates came up and said, "There's a picture of me saying it could be the piece of the puzzle for the Dane Beams trade getting to Brisbane." And I hadn't heard anything at the time, so I was just kind of like, "Oh, well, geez, that's interesting." It's on Facebook and on maybe the news and stuff. And then the next day is like when we had the calls.
Yeah.
But that was just an article that could have been a piece of the puzzle that obviously the media had got a hold of.
Right.
So it was all pretty full on, and then had the Sunday off, and then Monday I was down in Melbourne doing my medical. And then I think, Buck spoke to me like Monday night at dinner.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Geez, that happens quick, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I hadn't spoken to Buck since he cut me from 16s.
No way.
Vic Country, and the first thing he said to me was, "Hey, long time no see," or something. And I said, "Yeah, we haven't spoken since you cut me from the 16s." That was the first things we said to each other.
What did he say? How did he take that?
He just laughed. He
Yeah.
laughed, yeah. I think he was in Bali or something on a holiday.
Okay, there you go. So obviously, those early days in Brisbane, it seems like, you had opportunity, didn't have the most opportunity, and felt like time for change. But like, can you just, before we go into Collingwood, because obviously I've watched a lot of your footy at the Pies, but what was the transition like just into the AFL as a young kid? Because you're probably used to all the pre-seasons and heavy training now.
I suppose it's obviously the highest level, so you can never really get used to it. I think obviously the hardest thing is moving from a small country town into a city.
Yeah.
So I moved in with a host lady. She had a few rookies and stuff before, but then unfortunately she got a job 2 months after I moved in down to Melbourne, so she moved. But I just moved in with my auntie anyway.
Right.
Probably could have done that in the first place, but it was pretty good. I had a hard time navigating. Because I didn't have an iPhone at the time. I had a Galaxy, and they weren't really good on maps. They were real slow. So I had a bit of a hard time navigating my way around. And the first couple of days, I was like late to a couple of things.
Oh, no.
I'd left with enough time.
Just
I
no
just
idea
had
where you're
I
going.
was driving around like a headless chick. It's pretty funny, and then blew me tyre on one thing because I went over a curb, and then
Jeez, it was all falling down.
Trying to go to get a DEXA scan one day, and I had to get across 4 lanes. I'm trying to go fast, and I accidentally hit another car. I was in all sorts.
You're just all over the shop.
But I was low key, just like confident driver. But country in the city is just like, oh shit, so much shit going on.
Different ball game.
I was all over the shop. But since then, I've gotten a lot better.
Yeah. More importantly, yeah.
Still got the road rage, but bit more calmer behind the wheel.
Now let's talk about the Pies, because it's hard to think like you struggled in your first sort of, well, not struggled, but you went through challenge in your first few years, because when you look at your Collingwood career, you pretty much play most weeks. You're a big player, a big part of their team. How was the transition into the Pies, and did you kind of realise how big that football club was before you came?
It was pretty smooth. I think coming down from Brisbane, like, it's not a footy state at all.
Yeah.
And I forgot what it was like being up there for 3 years. You underestimate kind of how much football is involved down in Melbourne. So that was probably the big eye opener. But I was pretty blown away with like how humble everybody was at the club when I got here. Right. And even Michaela, my wife, was as well. Just thought, how good's this? It's actually a lot better than we thought it was going to be. Wasn't uncomfortable at all. Felt like I slotted in straight away, and I had obviously ambition to play senior football, so I made that clear from the start. And my first goal was to play round 1 and then go from there. And then I was always trying to get feedback from coaches and players, and they had a program at the time like leading teams, and there was one stage we were in New Zealand for a pre-season camp, putting up like their round 1 team, and I asked every group because they didn't have me in it, like, what do you think of me? And every group was the same. Just obviously training really well. We haven't seen you play, like obviously because you didn't really play much.
Stiff.
So. No, that's all right. That's
Yeah,
I just
it's
got
the honest
feedback I got from everyone, and I was like, that's great, like fine. And then they obviously knew I was a great trainer at the time, and from there it's just been round 1, round 2, round 3, just goal to stay in the team for the year. Ended up having a really good first year at Collingwood and coming third in the BNF, and then haven't really looked back.
Yeah,
so
mate,
it's
funny
been great.
you haven't.
So yeah, great move. Wouldn't change it for the world.
Now, what's one of the things when people talk about you is like, because you kind of float through positions depending on, you know, the rhythm of the game, what it is.
Yeah, I've done that a fair bit.
Yeah. So where do you actually, for you, one, where you think your best position is, and 2, where do you actually, like Jack Crisp, where do you enjoy playing the most?
Well, the last few years, if they've shown anything, I think my roles are midfield and high back.
Yeah.
How I came to high back was, I started mid at Collingwood, mid and wing.
Yeah.
I played a bit of a run with role my first year, but also played wing, and then with a little bit of half forward as well. So I was, and I do the third up ruckman.
Mate, you're doing so much. I know.
I used to get some hit outs, which is great.
Because you're quite tall as well. For like when you talk about being like a
6'3",
halfback, high back player, you're pretty tall.
Well, yeah, when I play with like John Noble and Quainer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it was one game mid-year 2017. I think we had 2 injuries in the back line, so they put me to half back, and I think at the time I was trying to chase Puopolo and Bruce, and they were thinking, these blokes are far too quick for me. I've never played like back. I used to get scared.
But you're not very slow. You're pretty quick yourself. So.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's a different ball game because like playing up forward and mid, every time I get in the back line, getting the ball, I'm like, I don't want to be the one that causes a turnover.
Yeah, of course, right.
And then, I actually played all right there, and then I finished the year off there in defence, and then I pretty much trained over there all the pre-season for 18, and that was my role for the next few years. And then if they needed me in the midfield, which they put me in there numerous times anyway, whether it be first, second, third or fourth quarters, if they needed some run and drive and run and carry, whatever, which is my biggest strength, so I was doing that. Okay. And then, with Fly coming in this year, he probably saw the role reversed a little bit, maybe 70-30, like mid-back.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then obviously because we wanted to get Pendles through the back as well, and we had Bruzzy train through there, Nick Dacos as well. So we had some rotations and some blokes that could play the same roles to share it around a bit. But I've really enjoyed playing midfield again. It's been a good change-up because obviously I was high back for the last 3 years. But yeah, my biggest strength is my running ability, my run and carry, take the game on, drive legs, and that helps break the game open for us, I guess. And Fly loves seeing me use it in the midfield.
I was going to say, does his coaching style kind of complement the way you play as well? Because you're pretty, like as you said, fast-paced, always on the move, run and carry type player.
Yeah, a little bit. Like obviously we want to. It's well documented now that we were terrible at forward footy last year. Inside 50s, couldn't connect well, couldn't score. So the major drivers this year is like getting the ball forward, trying to lock the ball in their forward half, and being a great pressure side, which all the numbers are stacking up at the moment, which is great. And then, with the way I play, like attacking style, trying to drive the ball forward, it does work out well. And then I think nearly every team's got a player like me anyway, with the line breakers where they try to run and can break the game open running through the guts or the wing or something.
Absolutely.
It definitely, it's how you get through defences quicker as well. Like not only with the speed of ball movement, but if you got players like that. But I enjoy my role, and I want to keep backing myself in, and that's how I keep playing. Now,
you mentioned there's a few players that are like you, but not everyone wins the best and fairest at arguably one of the biggest clubs in the league. So I do want to talk about that, the Copeland Trophy last year, and obviously taking that out. Was it last year? Yeah, it was. Yeah. God, the season's dragged out with COVID and so forth. But talk me through that. Like, did you anticipate winning that? Are those awards important to you, or are they just kind of like, a bit surreal when they actually happen?
Yeah. It's obviously still very important. Like, it's the best and fairest at an AFL club. Like, who doesn't think that's important?
That's fucking awesome.
But at the same time, I'm really humbled and grateful for the opportunity. And like was always a goal of mine as well. So I'd been playing consistent footy over the last 5 or 6 years at the Pies, but the highest I'd ever got was third in the BNF. And
was that your first year as well? You mentioned.
Yeah, I've come third 3 times, a fourth once, I think, and maybe a 6th or 7th in the
Because
ninth,
I spoke to someone who like, mate, he's so consistent finishing in the Copeland every year.
Yeah, so I've been in
There
the
you go.
top 10 every year.
That's crazy.
4 top 5s now as well, yeah. So, so that was, one goal of mine. And being able to win that last year was pretty rewarding. And I was just really relished that opportunity, and I was really grateful. And something to reflect on. It's just, even talking with Dad after, it's just like, I know your name's in the history books as well for something like that, which is pretty awesome. I'm very proud of myself for where I've come, especially like obviously the trade from Brisbane, wanted some opportunity to work my ass off to being a consistent footballer here.
Yeah.
It's a great reward for effort, but I'm still trying to go again, obviously. But
Absolutely.
want it this time. Yeah, we want some team success as well. It's not just about me as an individual.
Yeah.
Yes, that's. I'm happy to receive that as well. But
Yeah.
I'd much rather win a premiership.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we can string some great footy together. And if that happens again so far this year, I'm consistent again. So be it. But keen for the team success.
Now, it's not. Yeah, it's a really good point. And when you talk about how consistent you've been in the Copeland, I think you've been absolutely stiff with this. And we spoke about this before we jumped on air. But the fucking term steak knives, Jesus Christ, that has been stiffed up. And for those that don't know, obviously the Dane Beams trade back in, was it 2014 or 15?
Yeah, end of 2014.
End of 2014. Obviously, he's gone to Brisbane. Collingwood picked up pick 5, which was obviously Geordie De Goey, I think pick 25, and then Jack Crisp. And the term was that, Jack Crisp been thrown in as the steak knives. Well, he's been a top 10 Copeland Trophy contender every year and won it last year, and obviously a top 3 a couple of times as well. So I think it's a bit stiff, that term. You don't like it. I can understand why.
I hate it. And I've heard it so much over the last 7 or 8 years. Not so much the last couple of years,
Yeah,
which
I bet.
is great.
Yeah.
Put it to rest a bit. But
Yeah.
that first year, it's pretty much all I heard was everywhere. It's just best trade, best steak knives, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, it's just...
It's
such a rubbish saying.
I've seen a lot of steak knives in my time.
I bet, yeah. The Christmas, what are they, Kris Kringle gifts, I bet. That'd be a target for you.
Might have to make some special ones, limited edition.
Now, this is a bit of a sore spot for Collingwood and Collingwood fans, but the 2018 grand final obviously was a bit of a heartbreaking one because it felt like the Pies were going to get up, and don't know how Dom Sheed still kicked that goal to this day. But can you just talk me through that?
Bullshit.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I still don't think he could do it again. He's done it a few times, but against you guys. But I just don't think he could do it again. But can you just talk me through that day? One, how special it is to be in a grand final, and two, obviously the heartbreak that was.
Yeah, so not even just the day. I think the whole week was pretty awesome. And actually, the first couple of weeks of finals was awesome as well because I'd never been part of finals before. And then just obviously the turnout for the crowds at training were pretty awesome, especially obviously leading in the grand final week. But the whole week wasn't too different until the day before grand final parade. That was pretty unreal. Got to have Lila. I was sitting with Trav Varco and we both had our kids on the back of the car, which is awesome. So I got a photo of that at home with Lila and myself, and then Travi and his kids, which is awesome.
Jeez, how old would Lila have been then? Practically a baby. Almost. What's 2018?
No, yeah,
one. Yeah, so 12 months.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, so one. Yeah.
Jeez, time flies. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. A long time ago now. But yeah, so that was pretty unreal. Something special. And then obviously seeing all the crowd along the sides. The drive seemed like went for a while, probably because we were going like 10 k's an hour. But yeah, that was awesome. The night before was pretty good. It was just doing my thing, having passed at home with mum and dad there and all that jazz. But the morning I was pretty crazy. I think it's just the excitement.
Yeah.
Unreal. Like, had to leave like an extra hour earlier to get to the game, like 3 hours or something because of traffic and stuff. And then had the car there and had obviously my family, Michaela's family. And then the whole thing just warming up, taking the team photo on the ground. I don't know, it just seems kind of like a blur now, but it's just one of those things. And it was a beautiful day, so it just happened so fast.
It was a belter of a day too, wasn't it? Yeah.
Everything was great until the final sign.
Oh, shit.
And then it's just,
I feel like
here come the waterworks.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, it was a great game. It was a tough one to swallow for Collingwood fans. But does that sort of day, obviously getting a taste of it, Like, is that just kind of left you guys as a club, as a footy club, really wanting to get back there sooner?
Yeah, well, 100%. Like we had, I think 2019, we had a pretty reasonable year as well.
Yeah.
But stuffed it up at the end there. But yeah, there's a lot of players on our list still that were there, and a few blokes that are on our list that obviously were injured and weren't part of it, and still have that obviously key driver. Look, everyone wants to win a premiership, obviously. So we've had a few blokes with that experience, and we're using our knowledge as well to like kind of help educate all our young kids and to become the footy club we want to be, with the new coaches as well. So I think we're on the right path at the moment. And that's why probably everyone's very excited as well.
Yeah.
Not only for the good work that we're doing, but where the club is at culturally and the environment that we are creating is awesome. So that still plays on my mind sometimes. I haven't actually watched a game back or anything, grand final. I don't think I probably ever will. But it's still one of the highlights of my career, and would definitely love to do it again. Maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times would be great.
Yeah, well.
But we'll start with one.
The way you guys are going, and look, to lift up the beat, one of the super sort of like just abnormal days in the AFL world that Collingwood's privileged to be a part of is Anzac Day, and we've just had Anzac Day.
Yeah.
And I know this is going to be a clip for the listeners, but can you just take us through like how special it is to play on Anzac Day and like just actually what it's like out there on the field? Because I can't relate to it, but it just seems like this superhuman kind of experience.
Yeah, it's unreal. It's like obviously something you have to experience at least once, but not only as a player, like obviously you're lucky enough to be playing in it, but even if you're in the crowd, it's one of those things you have to go at least once.
Yeah.
For all the good reasons for the Anzacs, it's so special and to be a part of, and Collingwood and Essendon always like get people in throughout the week to talk about it and just hear stories and just relish opportunity, and just it's an opportunity to learn more about the past and with football clubs and obviously with the soldiers of the country, which is awesome. But then on another level, for just specific to football, when you're out there arm in arm, listening to the last post and stuff, and the minute silence is very surreal. It just kind of gives you goosebumps. Like you just look around and see everyone standing up, crowd packed, like full as, and then when the siren goes, I don't know, just full goosebumps and chills, and the crowd roaring. It's definitely one of the best experiences I've ever had, besides obviously grand final stuff. But yeah, being able to do that every year is something to look forward to. And then after not having a crowd for the last couple of years, and we having 85,000 last week was bloody awesome.
Yeah, well, I think what was it, the second biggest crowd since like the 2019 grand final or something. It was a ridiculous start.
It was something,
it was huge.
Yeah, the biggest crowd in sports or something for
a couple of years.
Yeah,
I'm
a
sure.
few years. So something I was very happy to be a part of, and like glad to be at Collingwood for. That's why a lot of players love to come to Collingwood as well to try and be a part of it. If they're lucky enough. I've done it for 8 years now.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I don't think that you can compare anything else in sport or life to that experience. That's why I think like being an AFL player is so unique.
Yeah.
Or a professional athlete, because you're put in that environment. Then when you leave the AFL, there's nothing ever that can compare to that experience, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that you hold on for life, and the memories you'll cherish, those special games.
Yeah.
And, those unique experiences.
Fuck, mate, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Now, one of the superstars that I love, I love entertainers, I love people that are a bit different, which is why I like Jackie Crisp, of course, because he does bleach his hair from time to time. But so another kid that's bleached his hair is Jack Ginnivan, who won the Anzac Day medal. And I mean, he's a bit of a TikToker like you and I. He's quite handy.
Michaela was actually on his profile last night. It's popped up on his For You page.
Yeah, but he's a weird TikToker, I would say, because he doesn't actually do anything. He just kind of words the lyrics and stares at the camera, but gets more views than you and I. So, which is frustrating.
Must be the young generation.
Yeah, must be. Yeah. But how good is he? Like, how good did you kind of foresee his success coming through and that quickly, I guess, this season?
You could argue probably not so quickly, obviously, for a 10-gamer.
Yeah.
But he's always had that unique ability to be able to create opportunities in front of goal for himself and teammates, which we've seen back half of last year and over pre-season. So, obviously knew there's a lot of talent there, but being able to execute in a game of football under all the pressure that is there with the umpires and the crowd, and obviously the opposition is another level. So, and what better stage than Anzac Day in front of 85,000 crowd, and it was Essendon's home game, so they probably had 70% of the crowd there. So,
He copped a bit of flack, but he wore it well, I tell you.
Oh, no, and if that's the role he wants to play as well, he obviously got to have a bit of thick skin, and he's embraced that from the start.
Yeah.
I haven't really played with a forward like that for a while, so it's really great to see him, come out of himself, or be himself, but come out of his way to become a great football for the club. He's great to play with. Like, obviously, we want to find ways to get goals, and he's finding ways to set up his teammates and for himself to do it in a bit of a flashy way sometimes.
Definitely.
But and that's exciting stuff. People come to the football to see exciting games of football, and he's definitely bringing that for the team. So it's great to see.
Did you see the stuff with Kane Corns around him? Like, have you seen that?
I saw him. Obviously, he copped it at the start of the year, but I saw the video of him blonde dyeing his hair blonde the other day. I lost it.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
I thought that was funny.
There's like a split like video of him just going like, Jack Ginnivan, you've played 6 games, just running around playing good footy, and then it's like, bang, just bleach his hair.
4 games later.
4 games later, an Anzac Day medal and about 12 goals. Yeah. And he's bleached his hairs.
What is he saying in the Sunday footy show? He's like, he's got an edge, and now I want an edge about me. So he dyed his hair blonde.
Which one is it, mate?
I lost. I thought it was funny.
What did you make of them? Because obviously, like, for me, the younger generation, I think even for you, Jack, even though you're pretty experienced, like, the stuff that, I think it was end of round 1 where he was on the phone and the they're just like going around saying like, well done boys, light work, all that sort of stuff. Like, it's fun. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But, like, did you kind of see an angle from Kane Corns' perspective, or do you kind of just, it doesn't really matter, like people reading into it too much?
I think obviously everyone's got their opinion. He's just a young fella celebrating a win. Like, great way to start off the year because we didn't have much to celebrate last year. Yeah. So I get obviously Guinea's point of view. Probably the thing that caught the most attention was him saying light work.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I don't think it obviously wasn't light work because football's a bloody hard caper. And had to put in 4 quarters of effort to get over the line against St Kilda. But I don't know. I don't really have too much of an opinion. Like, he's a young fella trying to celebrate. We all celebrated with him. I was in it. Woo, we won. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
I think it's good. I think that stuff's more for the fans rather than trying to be flashy.
Everyone loved it, and obviously in the industry we live in, like, someone's going to have a bad opinion about something. You're not going to go through anything with making everybody happy. Yeah. But it just depends who that unhappy person is and how much they can say on a platform. But it's going to make it go further. But and obviously he probably spoke to the coach about it afterwards anyway, and it
was all good.
Yeah, it was all good, but might have been frowned upon. Like, I think Collingwood posted that video without even going through it and editing it. So
which is the best part. That's why I liked it.
And that's now obviously Collingwood's got some feedback now as well about check the videos first, make sure it's fair. It's all great content, because we don't want anything to harm the club's brand and any players and put anyone else in any bad situations where we have to go into damage control. Yeah. So it's just about looking after yourself and the football club you work for, and not dragging anyone's name through any mud. So all for celebrating, doing the right thing, getting around each other. It's a great win, great way to start the year, and then just probably keep a lid on it a little bit as well. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, I don't think you've played under another skipper at the Pies, have you?
No,
it's just Pendles.
Just
right?
Pendles, yeah.
Can you, because we love Pendles here, but our goal is to get Pendles on the show, and I reckon we will one day, people. But because you've been in and around the leadership group, you're obviously one of the more experienced players that's there, and I guess you've had good insight into Pendles. But what do you think? Like, we know how good he is on the field and how good he's been for so long, but as a sort of captain of a football club, which comes with much more than just on the field, what makes him sort of so good and unique?
I think just the way. My biggest surprise when I got to the club was how good he is at, like, obviously understanding his role on the team, but then helping educate others. And you can see it on the foot. I still see it on the footy field, like on the weekend. Just his willingness to help others set up in the right positions and stuff. Like, some people go into their shells in situations and just kind of like worry about themselves, but he's always there screaming like, blokes, blah, 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 blah. Like,
really?
He's always doing the best he can for the team. And it's the same off the field. And he looks at things, he can see so many different things as well with his views, because he's just so clever, understands football so well, and obviously been around a while and had a lot of experience in it, and he's been able to work under some great people as well. Like obviously coaching with Bucks, and Maxwell was his captain for a bit when he first got here. So
under Mick.
So just I think the way he just does those things is really good. He brings the young kids along, even the older fellas, like even me, he still gives me feedback, gives everyone feedback.
Really?
Like, no, it's good.
That's awesome.
Even at training, just like the game plan, just reiterating facts and stuff, and as he should, as a great leader of the club. So that's why he's still captain, because he does it so well, and everyone respects what he does for us on the footy field and off the footy field.
Absolutely. Now, I reckon a lot of the younger players, without knowing them too well, I reckon a lot of them would say, like people obviously like Pendles, but even yourself, are really good with them. And just like get along well with them and instantly make them feel comfortable, and you're probably guiding them on and off the field a little bit as well. But for you, what sort of made you be that way? Because I know you've got really good relationships with a lot of young players, and for someone that's been there for quite a while, it's pretty good trait to have.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of me, my personality, I think.
Still a kid at heart.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that. And look, I won't change that. Like, I loved being that person for my kids as well. I still play around, beat them up at home. Not actually beat them up, just play wrestling. We have pillow fights and stuff.
Yeah.
Not with Caleb, just with my kids.
He's one of them though, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think I'm one of those blokes, I guess. Oh no, you can't have gaps in the football clubs. Obviously, you're going to have some really old fellas and some really young fellas, and you've got to find ways to bring them all together. And I feel like I'm really good at that in my role, being able to be a middleman. I don't know. I just get along well with everyone. I feel like I've done that for my whole life. I like to be. I'm a people pleaser. Same as Michaela. I hate when people don't like me.
Oh, we like you, John.
Yeah. No. I've just always gotten along well with everyone.
Yeah.
You obviously find your niches with people and who you're going to hang out with more. But yeah, I feel like I get along well with everyone. It's just about being polite as well, and that's just my friendly nature from Myrtleford.
It's a good upbringing, mate.
In the morning and get along with everybody.
Absolutely. Now, before we round this out, as everyone knows, as I mentioned earlier, we did put a bit of a poll out yesterday to ask Jackie Chris some questions from all the listeners. So we've got a couple, which we're going to throw at you.
Beautiful.
First one is, do you have plans post-footy? Now, this is actually a bit of a big question, but, I mean, 28, are you thinking about that yet?
I've thought about that a lot. Short answer, no. I've come to the conclusion lately that I find it hard to find something else to do that I love and want to dedicate a lot of my life to while I'm so dedicated to football.
Yeah.
Like I've dipped my time, like we spoke about earlier with the video editing stuff, like I love doing that, but I just don't really have time for that at the moment. Like I went to SEN and watched how they did a few things about TV shows and stuff, and I was like, no, that's not for me. That's too full on.
Yeah.
And then, I love all my fitness stuff, so I've done my PT course back in the day, but potentially maybe high performance coaching. I've even thought about doing a massage course and myotherapy courses, and I don't really know. Could be a football coach.
Yeah, well,
could do some coaching courses. I don't really know, but it's been. Yeah, I can't really wrap my mind around it.
I was going to say to this
And
listener,
then,
I think when you're winning best and fairest, you probably got to be focusing on footy just for a little bit.
And then the other thing is like, I probably would have done something if I didn't have kids as well. But now, because I've had like kids, I want to spend a lot of family time together, and that kind of throws other things out the window as well. Even my golf, that wasn't very good.
There you go.
Well,
once a week. His COD's not suffering though. So.
Oh yes, sorry, that also suffers.
It does it?
I only play at night time when the kids are asleep. Otherwise, I get in trouble.
Now to the next question: who does Jack Crisp find the hardest to play against individually? Who
Hardest
matches
to
up well
play
with you?
against? Gosh. I've been lucky enough to play on so many great players in my time anyway, and everybody has their own special strengths. Like I've played on Dusty, I've played on Fife, I've played on Gary Ablett, I've played on Chris Judd my first year here, Pat Dangerfield.
It's not a bad list, people.
Yeah, so...
Just reeled off the best 6-7 players the last 10 years in the comp.
Anyway, I knocked them all off. But yeah, no, everyone's unique in their own way. Like some blokes are really strong around the stoppages. Some blokes are hard runners. You know, some blokes are burst players. Like everyone's got their own strengths, and I feel like I'm an all-rounder, so I can kind of match it on little bits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been lucky enough to play on so many great players. I can't put name to
one.
anyone,
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Now, do you have like a pre-match ritual or any superstitions going into game day?
Yeah, yep. So every night before a game, I'll have pasta.
Yep.
On away trips, I actually bring my gaming laptop so I can play COD the night before. This is great because no kids around.
Yep.
But day of the game, so say if I'm at home, I'll go to my local cafe and have poached eggs, bacon, avo and toast, some coffee. If it's a night game, I'll find time for a sleep throughout the day, 1 to 2 hours.
Okay.
I don't necessarily sleep the whole time, but I'm just kind of shut off in the bed, yeah. And then I'll have leftover pasta for lunch. And then I've got a motivational video that I watch.
Same one or different ones?
It's the same one. So a few years ago, it was just one from YouTube.
Yep.
And then 2019, I worked with the Collingwood Media and got some of my own clips integrated into the actual video clip with the same speeches and all that jazz. I just swapped a few things out for my footy edits.
Yep.
And then I've just done the same thing, just got some more updated edits.
Okay, there you go.
So that goes for about 5.5 minutes. I watch that every day of the game before I leave.
Wow.
Yeah. And that just kind of gets me in the mood. Like, it shows me how I can play really good football and motivates me with a few good speeches from different movies.
Yep.
And then I used to listen to Pitch Perfect soundtracks pre-game. Like, I just used to sing them on the way
He's
in.
shaking, he's nodding his head there. He's loving that.
Yeah, well, I used to sing them all the time in the car, like, headphones in, never loud.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I've actually got a video that I sung Lollipop for the Collingwood a couple of years ago on my Instagram.
Oh, we might need that for our TikTok film. Throw that one up.
But yeah, I've gone away from those songs now.
But you've got a bit of a ritual there.
Yeah, and then like when I get to the ground, I get my feet taped by a certain person. I see my osteo, does my back stuff at the start, and then I go through my rehab exercises before I go out into the ground and have a kick. And
Right.
I do a lot of things the same. I'm pretty routine based, and if I'm running late for things or I don't have time for things, I kind of get pretty stressed.
Yeah. Were you stressed today because you're a little bit late? Even though
not so much for this because
he's
pretty chill.
Who the fuck's this
But
bloke?
every game day, if Michaela has to come in with me to the ground earlier,
Yeah.
all hell breaks loose.
I can imagine.
I tell her one time, and I said, "No, you ready to go?" She goes, "No, you told me so." I'm like, "No, I fucking didn't." Apologies for swearing.
There we go.
But yeah, it can get pretty stressful. Obviously, we're trying to get kids ready as well. That is so hard.
Yeah. Can't relate.
Trying to get them dressed. No, don't wear that. Trying to do their hair. No, don't brush my hair. It's hard.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Now, the last one I'll throw at you is just, this is an interesting one because I reckon there's a couple, but it could be subject to opinion. But who are the jokers around the footy club? Who are the funny blokes?
The jokers, number one, probably me.
Yeah, here we go.
Hey,
Self-proclaimed.
Nah, I think I'm pretty funny.
Yeah.
Hence why I just said that.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of dad jokes.
Yeah, there you go.
People they just shake their head and go, no. And I'm just sitting there laughing at my own jokes. Yeah, Braden Maynard's always very funny.
Yeah, Bruzzy, he looks.
Yeah, he's very funny. Who else is pretty funny?
There's quite a few. I
Yeah.
reckon you've got quite a few.
I can't think of any at the moment. That's always the hardest
Yeah.
spot. I think everyone's got a funny moment, I reckon. But yeah, Bruzzy's probably the main one.
Yeah, the larrikin.
Yeah, like the all-rounder for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, mate. Well, I tell you what, it's been a pretty good chat. I've actually learned a bit about Jackie Crisp, everyone. He's not too far off 200 games. I'd love to see him hit it this year if they
Yeah, I think we've got to play 3 finals or 4 finals.
Yeah,
I worked it out at the start of the year.
Yeah, you're on track. Obviously, if you keep playing the way you are, you're going to have a pretty great season. And the club's going well. So for those that tuned in, we appreciate it. Obviously, Jackie Chris having a big year. And, mate, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, thank you very much for having me. It was great fun.
Yeah, we're going to have to do a TikTok or something at some point together. I might have to do a TikTok, just a duet of one of his and take the piss.
Yeah, I'll repost.
Yeah. All right, cheers, mate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.